This IFL Playoff Preview and Picks edition of Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is giving away $15 million in Best Ball Mania 5. Sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to claim your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code OFFSGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has the best AI picks, projections, and their college football product is about to drop. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Macho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old Fashioned Football.
Make this deal right now, you pancake eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you're listening to, this is J Mark. You can find me on the X at J Mark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. We got a special episode with a special guest today. But before I keep going, I got to introduce my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mark. How you doing today?
Doing good. It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. A little different day.
Mm-hmm.
We've been a little lackadaisical on keeping a good schedule because life has been a little crazy.
Life has been throwing curveballs at us left and right.
after curveball. But we're here, and we're going to be talking a little indoor football, something a little different. We have a special guest who knows a lot more than we do, which is good because we don't know a whole lot. So I'm excited about that. I do know that we have the Iowa Barnstormers literally 30 minutes up the road.
Yes, weren't we supposed to go?
We were.
Failed.
I know. I talked with their coach, Dave Moggensen, and he invited us to a game and just said, let him know which one. And we did not.
Can we just tell him life has thrown us curveballs?
Right. Can we go next year? They had a little bit of a disappointing season this year, but we'll get into all that. Before we, I guess, go on, I just want to let you know that we're brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast, and they got a ton of different shows. Make sure you check out this week's featured podcast with MLB Podcast, giving you all the picks you need to crush the MLB season. Plus, the college football experience is knee deep in their team previews. 134 team previews, of course. Our buddy, the Colby Dant, is doing that. Pick Dundee. My mom said she was watching Crocodile Dundee the other day, and it reminded her of Colby because he always says he's the Pick Dundee.
She was watching Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I guess it was just on TV or something, Just, hey, that looks good. Are you saying it's a bad movie?
No.
Colby's going to be offended.
No, I'm not. I am absolutely not. I just can't picture your mom just chilling and watching that Crocodile Dundee.
Anyway, subscribe to Colby, subscribe to the MLB, subscribe to all of them wherever you get your podcasts, and the SGPN app. All right. Why don't we bring our guest on? What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our guest is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's written college football, fantasy football, college basketball, a bunch of different underdog picks. And he's been in the Discord giving out just fire IFL picks. He's 39, 25-2 on posted plays and coming off a red hot 6-2 week 19. Matthew Dwoskin of SGPN. Matthew, how's it going, man?
J-Mark, great to see you. Miranda, hello.
Hello.
We're excited. Now,
appreciate you for having me on and talking to IFL today. It's awesome.
Absolutely. We're happy you're joining. Can you believe we're 30 minutes from the Barnstormers and have not been to a game yet?
I can believe it. Yes. No, I've seen. One thing about IFL is that they make their game super accessible. Like they don't have like a TV deal, so they stream everything on YouTube. And some of the crowd sizes that I've seen on the live crowds, I can definitely believe that you haven't made it to a game based on what I've seen.
Fair enough. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started,
and maybe like how you got into IFL too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to bet on something.
Fair enough.
No, I honestly, growing up, I I remember having like really fond memories of the Arena Football League. Like, I'm an '80s kid, so '90s I was in middle school, high school, and I just have memories of finding like these weird teams on ESPN2 at like 9 o'clock on a Friday, and
Sure.
they were always ton of fireworks, ton of cheerleaders, fast-paced games, and I've always kind of like really enjoyed the indoor game. Now, I freely admit, I'm gonna make sure this this gets back to Colby. I'm going to say, outdoor football is the superior brand of football,
Right.
but we're in that weird dead zone where I'm trying to talk myself into betting on WNBA games. So on the weekend, if I have a little bit of football to bet on, I don't mind that it's indoors.
There you
So,
go.
and I kind of stumbled across. I think a couple of years ago there was the big story of the players going into the stands to beat up a couple fans. I'm like, oh, this looks like Arena League. Oh, so I wonder, do they beat up the fans every week? I hope not. But, so I started, honestly, that was the story that got the headlines, so that kind of drew me to it. And then I noticed on some of the books had lines. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
we can bet on this. All right. So I started betting. Like I did a little bit last year, and I got into it a lot heavier this year. And I've kind of refined the system, the secret sauce, so to speak, and I've been able to turn a little bit of profit, which is always nice. So
Absolutely.
it's a fun league. It's super accessible, and if I know they had the AFL Championship this past week, and there's some controversy over a ball in the stands.
Yeah.
If they throw a ball into the stands in the IFL, you get to keep it. That may not be
Oh,
the case with the AFL in their current financial situation, but with the
right.
IFL, you can keep the ball. If you catch one in the stands, you can keep it. So
That's
um,
awesome.
I always thought that was, I've never caught a foul ball. I've never caught a football either. So maybe I'll try to make my way up to Green Bay or out to Iowa to or maybe Moline even to check out to
Yeah.
catch a ball in the stands maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's as a sports fan, that's always kind of a dream, being able to catch a ball like that. For
Mhm.
me, as a music fan, it's very relatable to catching the guitar pick
The guitar pick.
from the guitarist, which I had gone to so many different concerts and never had until about 4 years ago. It was pre-COVID, I think. So 5 years ago,
Mhm.
Right on.
seeing Whiskey Myers, they flicked a pick and I just caught it right out of the air. It's like, this is an awesome moment. And I feel like that's relatable to
Do you
sports
still have
catching
the
the ball.
pick?
I do.
Mhm.
Somebody tried to buy it off me right
Souvenir for
away.
life, my friend.
Yeah. Somebody tried to buy it off me right away. This guy was like, I'll give you $20, $40. I probably should have just been like, okay, sure. But it was a special moment. I'm like, I need
No,
this.
I'd be happier with the pick. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. So yeah, indoor football, for people that don't know, obviously it's indoors, it's a smaller field,
Yep.
it's very fast paced.
Yep.
That's one of the things I like about it. Even though as a Chicago Bears fan, I love good defense, but every now and then you like to just turn something on and just see that go, 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 boom,
Mhm.
boom.
Well,
So that's a lot of fun to watch. Uh,
but believe it or not, a lot of the teams that made the playoffs actually have like the better defenses in the league. So it's not if you don't want your football sensibilities offended by constant go 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 and you want to actually see a stop, you're probably going to see a couple stops this weekend. I guarantee it. So
nice,
Okay.
nice. I
Do
like
you
it.
have a favorite IFL team?
I'm based in Chicago and we don't have a team really. I'm kind of in the middle of like three teams. Number one, Green Bay is probably my favorite to watch, but I cannot root for Green Bay. Will not. I'm sorry.
I like
It
it.
just sounds wrong.
I mean, I'd be impressed to see the matchup that I would root for. Green Bay versus Satan. I mean, I'd probably You could probably talk me into Green Bay. I don't know. I really have to think about like where the line would be that I would root for.
I like it.
So and then Iowa City and I'm sorry, Iowa and Quad Cities are nearby me. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of I just kind of like look for the better matchups is what I kind of base my viewing habits on. Like say for example, like there's like a Vegas Arizona matchup like we have this weekend.
Mhm.
That's something I would definitely try to tune into. But you know, all football is good football in my eyes. So
Yeah, for sure. Um, just to hit on the Iowa team real quick, what do you think they need to do? You've watched a lot more this year. What do you think they need to do to kind of turn that franchise around and get back to winning? Because the Barnstormers, I mean, everybody that's seen some form of arena or indoor football seems like they know the Barnstormers. It's a historic type franchise, but they've been kind of down on their luck recently.
Yeah, no, they had a rough season, missed the playoffs, sadly, womp womp. But honestly, just try to think back. They're they're in the bottom half in terms of scoring offense, and in the bottom half in terms of scoring, in the bottom half in terms of scoring defense. So honestly, they kind of really need to kind of retool that entire roster.
Sure.
I believe it or not, this past offseason, there actually was free agent movement. Daquan Neal left Tucson to go to Bay Area. It was like a big deal that they, he was the reigning MVP, and Bay Area was able to coax him over to their side. And Tucson took a dump, and Bay Area is is one of the top seeds in the playoffs this year. So looking to dabble in free agency, but honestly, just looking to retool that roster. There's a ton of talent out there. I mean, even if they try to recruit like locally, like it's some of the guys from some of the local schools in Iowa, even if you could find like a couple like local Hawkeyes that want to keep playing and probably aren't made for CFL or UFL, why not? And that's kind of the neat thing about the league is you get a really nice mix. You get like guys who are kind of just doing this as like a weekend thing, who are I played in college and this is kind of my last chance to strap it on. But you also get some guys who actually do end up on like NFL practice squads, CFL rosters, UFL rosters too. So I think in the past few years they've had about I think all time I think they claim that it's 150 guys over like the past like 20 years have made it to like professional roster. I think in the last 7 it's something like 80. So
okay,
you're starting to see that bit of a step up in terms of quality, and it's it's actually made for a really entertaining league, and it's a really wide open league. Like week to week, you really have to pay attention to like home road splits. You have to really pay attention to if you can get injury information, it's great. But also just keeping an eye on like what team what the recent performances look like, and but not allowing it to like cloud your judgment a bit too much. If you like, for example, like Duke City got destroyed like 2 weeks ago. They lost it was like 81-52, like a ridiculous, and that makes it sound close.
Yeah.
And they came back and they won out. They won outright as a 10-point dog this past weekend. So
nice.
And I was on Duke City money line also.
Nice.
So either way, it's just you got to again just kind of from a handicapping standpoint, it's not nearly as sharp as like an NFL line would be. Not even close. They don't have you don't see you don't have near the money bet on it as you would like an NFL line. Like not even close. But so the lines aren't nearly as sharp, so you can kind of take advantage if you're paying attention. And I've been trying to pay attention, and based on the results, it's where it's I think I know a thing or two about a thing or two in terms of the IFL at this point.
Very cool. Before we keep talking about IFL real quick, I believe you're a Bears fan, but you can correct me if I'm wrong.
It would only make sense.
It would only make sense being in Chicago. If you were in Chicago and a Green Bay fan or Minnesota fan, I'm sure life would be tough. But what are you expecting for the Bears this season? For
17-0, my friend.
I wish.
No, I think if I want to see progress.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I want to, we saw the team take a step last year, and we need to see them take at least another step this year. And what I mean by that is, it's time to have a winning record. It's 9-8 is in my opinion the floor. Like if we're not 9-8, I think we need to continue to kind of look to retool, look to maybe not look to not lock guys up into long-term deals like we've been considering with some of the talent. So we need to see that progress. It's the talent around Caleb is there, I think. I'd feel better if we had some more depth on the offensive line. I'd feel a lot better if we had another guard, or they actually found like a center who could be. I feel like they found like a representative center, which is better than what they had last season.
True.
So as long as we can have like a top 20 center, I'll be okay with it. My concern is like once you get to like week 8, week 9, and you've got a couple guys who are missing games, what's that offensive line going to look like then? That's my concern on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I'd like to see another pass rusher. I think everybody would. I'm kind of
Mhm.
surprised they didn't do a better job of addressing it. They've been talking up Austin Booker like, he's the solution. Maybe he is. He hasn't played much football in the past 2 years, but
Right.
maybe he's got the natural talent, natural ability to make it happen. I'm skeptical. I don't like the defensive end depth chart. I do like the defensive tackle depth chart. I think that's going to be solid. I want to see a lot more out of Dexter and the other Pickens, the other kid. I want to see both of them take a step as well. And I feel great about the back seven on defense. I love our linebackers. I really love our secondary. All those guys are great athletes. Really looking forward to seeing what that looks like. If they could just get a representative NFL pass rush,
Sure.
it would be as opposed to like a bottom 5 defense, it would be like a top 14 defense, which I feel like with the offense, I feel like that's enough to get it to 9-8, and so we can start to see the young team kind of take those steps and kind of improve. So that's my thought in the Bears. I apologize for going a little bit long, but
No, you're good.
No.
Fire and passion, my friend.
That's right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. If they could
Mhm.
get a pass rusher that could help just bridge the gap as Austin Booker kind of got up to speed, because I think he's a hell of an athlete. In multiple of my mocks that we put out on SGPN, I actually had him going to the Bears because I was excited about him. So when they actually took him, I was like, yes. Not just because I got it right, but just because I was kind of a fan of him. But you're absolutely right. Do I expect him to make a huge impact this year? Probably not. I think he needs some time to get up to speed.
Honestly, I mean, if they could do like a practice squad thing with him where he just like figures things out. I'd prefer that. It sounds like he's going to be on the 52.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the 53.
Yeah.
And for a developmental guy to be on a 53-man roster, that's a bit concerning. So either way, we'll see. But either way, I'm super excited about Caleb. If nothing else, it's different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They've never done anything like. Okay, I'm going to date myself. I'm 44 years old. I'm an old man.
Mhm.
They have never done anything like that. We've never had the guy. It's always been a guy.
Right.
And we've gotten we had a couple we got a couple seasons out of Jim Miller. We got a couple seasons out of some of the guys from the 90s. Mitch Trubisky was competent. Jay Cutler we thought was the guy. I mean, statistically speaking, he was like the best quarterback they've ever had.
Right.
I don't think you were ever going to win a Super Bowl with Jay Cutler as your quarterback. I mean, nobody had or nobody did.
Right.
So it's just unique. It's a different story for once, and that has me more excited than anything else. Is that we're not seeing like the same kind of we drafted a guy. No, we drafted the guy.
Right.
He's going to
We
be a
didn't
brand
pass
unto
up
himself.
on the guy.
Yeah, we've never had that before. So I'm just really punky QB. I was 4. Okay, give me a break.
That's fair. Yeah, no one.
Yeah. When I'm going back to single digits, it's a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, when we drafted Caleb, I said the last guy that had success, Jim McMahon, had a bunch of attitude and type things. Caleb's got an attitude. I don't know if it's necessarily the same, but and I'm gonna just say that I don't blame Jay Cutler. I'm gonna defend him and say it's
You
not
would,
his
and
fault.
he was like your man.
I love Jay Cutler. But anyways, let's switch gears.
I respected Cuddy. I'm not blaming him. There were other problems with that team, with those teams, but I'll second the lack of Jay Cutler blame. I'm not finger pointing at Cuddy. No, I can't do it.
Right, I can't either. Real quick before we keep talking about IFL. We've been playing a little Underdog Fantasy, and Miranda, you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and Underdog Fantasy just launched their college football best ball product. First place wins $20,000. Plus the higher, lower pick'em. Pick 8 allows you an opportunity to win 325 times your entry. And Best Ball Mania is live with 15 million in prizes. So you can now use specials and boosts on all those flex entries.
And
Yeah.
and I've been making my CFL picks because they do have CFL. All you got to do is go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code OFFSGPN to claim your special pick plus a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's a lot of bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code OFFSGPN. We're also brought to you by Game Time, which is now an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer to the first pitch. You know the deal. They got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat. They got a new thing called Zone Deals, where if you just pick your section and let Game Time choose the seats, you get a discount. And yeah, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything basically. They have their lowest price guarantee, or you get a credit of 110% the difference. Plus, you get to see your seat. So no more kind of going to somewhere and all of a sudden there's this beam in front of you that you didn't know was going to be there because they already showed you your seat. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. Before we pick,
Jim, I apologize for interrupting, but your ad reads are by far the best out of all the. I mean, you got Sean and Ryan. They're like like old school. They're fantastic. They do a really good job. But your ad reads are amazing. You could set your watch to those ad reads. I'm telling you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now he's just inflating my ego. I'm ready to talk some IFL. No. Before we talk about game by game, let's talk a little bit about the playoff picture here.
Oh, you got the bracket.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in the playoffs, I mean, we have the Green Bay Blizzard, Quad City Steamwheelers, Frisco Fighters, the Massachusetts Pirates, Arizona Rattlers, Vegas Nighthawks, Bay Area Panthers, and San Diego Strike Force. Who do you think has the best chance of winning the 2024 national championship?
Okay. All right. Looking at the board, I hate to say it. I really, out of the East, if you got to pick, go chalk, take Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my notes out here. My Green Bay notes. They have the best scoring defense in the league by far. They average about 33 points a game defensive, allowing 33 points a game defensively, so they can actually lock it down pretty successfully. And I love, they should absolutely roll Quad City at the Rush Center in Green Bay, and they've got they should have a tasty matchup against Frisco. They're the 1 seed, so they'll be at home again. I think they have a pretty clear path to the championship, and really in this league, all you need is a clear path to that, and you should be able to, and that's really all you're asking for, especially at 2-1 odds. I would put a couple bucks on Green Bay. I already have.
Okay.
Out of the West, the one that speaks to me the most is Arizona at plus 900.
I like it.
That's 9-1. So they've got the Nighthawks. This is the we'll get into the game a little bit. Maybe we'll probably get into the game a little bit. And this is their third time playing. Vegas is 2-0, but they've both been super close games. And I don't know that you can beat a team 3 times in the same season, especially in this league.
Yeah.
The Rattlers are the hottest team in the league. They've won 7 of the last 8 coming into this. So so they got the hot hand coming into the playoffs. Vegas has actually been one of the colder teams to make it into the playoffs, believe it or not. They're 4-4, and they started the year 7-0, and I think I want to say the end of the season 11-5. They went 4-4 over their last. I'm sorry, 4-5 over their last 9. So they actually cooled off a ton. They tend to kind of dominate the bottom feeders and kind of struggle against the decent teams. They do have 2 wins against Arizona, but I think this is the third time is the charm here. So we get Arizona into the second round, and then they get Bay Area and Strike Force, Bay Area or Strike Force. Both of those teams are beatable. They can beat either of those teams. They have a puncher's chance in either of those games. I really like the Arizona at 9-1 out of the West, and I like the chalk. The Blizz at 2-1 out of the East, I think is where I have put my money. So.
All right, I like it. Let's jump right into that first game: Green Bay Blizzard versus Quad City Steamwheelers, Friday, July 26th at 7:05. Just a reminder, you can bet these over on DraftKings. I know some other books have them, but I feel like that's been the easiest place to get them all year. Blizzard open is 9.5-point favorites, over under of 86.5.
Mhm.
If you like Quad City, they are plus 340 on the money line. Blizzard probably a little too juicy on minus 440. And yeah, they've played 3 times this year.
Played 3 times already. They played week 4 and Green Bay won 32-24. They played week 12. Green Bay won 64-36. And in week 15, Quad City won 37-27.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Green Bay-
the second game was in Green Bay. The other
Okay.
2 were actually
Mhm.
at the Quad City Stadium.
Okay.
All
So
right, yeah.
Green
Bay
Bay
finishing-
7. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying they finished 13-3, Quad City 8-8. So Green Bay obviously the better team record wise. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this matchup.
All right. Green Bay 7-1 home this year. I believe it's the Rush Center has been an absolute fortress for them. I think they only lost. I want to say it was their first or second game was their only home loss this year. They've been undefeated since then. Been dominating.
Wow.
Quad City 2-6 on the road. Green Bay 7th scoring offense, 1st scoring defense. Quad City 9th scoring offense, 10th scoring defense. Quad City kind of lucked their way into it. The second half of their schedule, there were a lot of kind of like bottom feeder teams that they were able to kind of pick off and kind of work their way back to 500 and back their way into the playoffs. Quad City, I've seen them struggle on offense, and they really can't stop anybody on defense. Green Bay, capable of moving the offense. They're led by their quarterback, Max Mailer, is actually a local guy. He went to University of Wisconsin Whitewater.
Okay. Nice.
And he's been with the team for 2 years. He's actually absolutely tearing it up this year. 38 touchdowns, only 4 INTs. In this league, that's actually pretty impressive. That's it's almost a 10-to-1 ratio. It's actually really, really solid for this league. Green Bay 2-1 in the season series. They crushed them in the rush into the first game. I think it's going to be a repeat. I like Green Bay to cover the 9.5.
Nice. I like it. Shout out to the chat. Hunter Moffat saying went to Quad City versus Sioux Falls game a couple weeks ago, and it was a fun experience. Nice.
Hunter, did you catch a ball?
Yeah. Hearing we can keep the ball if you catch it.
Yes.
Can you confirm if you caught one, Hunter? Yeah, just kind of looking at the bracket, looking at the records and everything. I agree that Green Bay seem to be, even if it is chalky, seem to be the play. Move on to the second game in the Eastern Conference, Frisco Fighters versus the Massachusetts Pirates. That's on Saturday at 6:05. The Fighters also open up as 9.5-point favorites. They're minus 380 on the money line. If you believe in those Pirates, they're plus 300. The over-under a little higher in this one, 93.5. And they've only played once this year.
Just once this year in week 12. And the Frisco Fighters won
IFL schedule.
48.
Yeah, it's weird that in the same conference, one matchup can have 3 games against each other, the other just 1. That is weird.
Mhm.
This is another 13.
Bay Area and San Diego, this is their 5th matchup this year.
Holy cow. That's crazy. Yeah, Frisco finished 13-3, Massachusetts 8-8. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this one.
Okay, we've got the absolute best offense in the league in Frisco, and the 7th best scoring defense in Frisco. Massachusetts 10th best offense, 3rd best scoring defense. Believe it or not, I've kind of developed a bit of a system with Massachusetts. Love them as a dog, hate them as a favorite.
Okay.
Whenever they're favored, they always choke. Whenever they're a dog, they always they always bark. So I'm taking Massachusetts plus the points. I think it's gonna be a lot closer. I believe the one game they played, I think it was only a 2-point game.
Mm-hmm.
So they've played Frisco tough before. I think they play them tough again. Frisco, they're coming. They're the 2 seed, and they've been one of the better teams in the league for the entire year. The quarterback TJ Edwards, dual threat guy, 35-4 touchdown interception ratio. Andy, I believe, is also their leading rusher. With a similar situation with the Massachusetts offense with their quarterback Alejandro Benefield, 34-6 TD to INT ratio, and I believe he's also a dual threat guy. This is just a system play for me. I'm taking Massachusetts with the points. I just think it's too many for this game. We saw that they kind of hung tough in the first matchup. Again on the road, Massachusetts. Again, as a dog, I've tended to like them as a favorite. I've always faded, so that's where I'm at for this one as well.
Nice. I like it. Hunter saying he didn't catch the ball, but it was Fan Appreciation Day, and his son caught a promo ball that the cheerleaders threw into the stand. So that's
good enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I'll go with you there. Like I said, we didn't watch a bunch, but I like having a system play. I mean, there are some teams in all sports where
Mhm.
as favorites they always choke, and as dogs they always bark, like you said. So yeah, I like that for sure. We'll talk about the Western side of the things in just a second here, but wanted to let everybody know that we're brought to you by Rhythm. And if you're not checking out the AI picks and props from Rhythm, you're missing out. They dominated the British Open, and the college football product is about to drop. You can even customize your own betting models easily using Rhythm's tools. Just claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by Circus Survivor and Circa Millions, and Circus Sports is back with Circus Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you're going to find if you don't, or if you do, I guess, win your office pool, but you didn't enter the Circus Survivor. And of course, circuit contests, they're not greedy. They have no rake. And if you don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet, don't sweat it, because the Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events. We love an open bar at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. Use promo code SGP15 to save 15% on your hotel room for a sign-up weekend. Sign up in person at Circus Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50. Just use that code SGP.
Silky smooth ad read. Just
Thank you.
It's silky smooth, just unbelievable.
I probably recite them enough that I'm saying them in my sleep. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me.
You're just talking ad reads in your sleep.
Just talking ad reads in my sleep. It would surprise me at all. Hunter caught a ball years ago from the Barnstormers in the Arena League when Kurt Warner played, but it wasn't thrown from him. That's still pretty cool.
That is cool.
He could have touched the ball, so that counts for something. Shout out to Kurt Warner. That's the thing with some of these players. Like, I know some people think, well, it's a completely different game. Some of these guys, they do make the leap, like Kurt Warner, and they do become these big stars. So it's cool to see him in this action. I've heard a lot, like in the spring leagues, especially, that the cornerbacks get a lot of attention in the spring leagues, the defensive backs, because in arena ball, it's hard to be a defensive back. So if they can cover in arena ball, then the assumption is that they will have an easy job covering outdoors on the field. So let's switch gears to this Western Conference playoffs, where we got the Vegas Knights against the Arizona Rattlers. That I have a feeling you might like them after hearing your kind of futures there. But they also play on Saturday at 9:05. Nighthawks are 4.5-point favorites. Rattlers are plus 140 on the money line if you like that. Over under set at 96.5.
And the two times that they played each other this year, Vegas won both 45-43 and 55-50.
So very close games. They both finished with 11-5 records. Vegas does have the second leading rusher in the league, I guess, Jerron Johnson. He also tied for the lead in touchdown rushes. They have the sack leader. They have the defensive back tied for most interceptions with 8. So they got some strong defensive pieces. But are you taking Arizona? And if so, can you tell us why?
I am absolutely taking Arizona. I hot hand. Arizona is, like I mentioned, they've won 7 of their last 8. The only loss was to Vegas, and it was a super close game. I like Arizona plus the points. I'm sprinkling the money line on this one. I think they will. I do think they will run out right, and I do like them to make the championship against Green Bay. So,
nice.
A couple numbers on this one. Vegas second best offense, scoring offense, 6th best scoring defense. Arizona 5th best scoring offense, 8th best scoring defense. So there should be some points scored in this one. Vegas 6-2 at home this year, but Arizona also 6-2 on the road this year.
Okay.
Jerome Johnson, the guy, the leading rusher you mentioned, he's also their quarterback, dual threat guy. He's one of the better players in the league, MVP candidate. But Arizona, they've got a guy by the name of Dalton Sneed. I don't know if he went to University of Montana, played there for a couple of years. He's been he was out for a couple of years in the middle of the season. I'm sorry, out for a couple of weeks in the middle of the season. Since he's been back, they've been absolutely awesome. And I got to ride the hot hand, especially if the hot hand's getting points. And I don't think Vegas can beat Arizona 3 times in the same season. I think Arizona's going to get this one, and they're going to move, and they're going to get it when it counts. and
Nice.
move on to the next round of the playoffs. That's yeah. So I'm on Arizona. I like it with the points. I'm sprinkling the money line.
Nice. I like it. He's talking me into this 9-1 for them to win the championship. Arizona is one of the teams that I had followed a little bit previous years because they used to have, and I'm blanking on his name, but there was a quarterback for the Barnstormers that went to Arizona, and he was a really good player, but I'm blanking on his name right now.
I'm sorry, I can't help you. I think I know who you're talking about, but I'd have to I should look as opposed to
Right.
recall. Yeah.
All good. No, I like it though. And then our last game, which is on Sunday at 6:05, the Bay Area Panthers versus San Diego Strikeforce. Panthers are 5-point favorites. Strikeforce plus 154 on the money line. So the Western side a lot closer in points and matchups according to the books. 86.5 is the over under. Now I know you said they played 5. I wrote down notes and only wrote 4, but
no. I mean, what I meant is this is their 5th matchup this year.
Oh, this is their 5th. Okay, I did write it down.
Okay,
right.
okay. So they played each other. Of the 4 other times they played, week 6, Bay Area won 53-50. Week 7, Bay Area won again, 33-32, close one.
Mhm.
And week 14, San Diego won 43-42. Week 19, Bay Area won 30-20. These are all very close games.
Close games. San Diego's quarterback Nate Davis threw for the 3rd most passing yards with 2,751. The top 2 quarterbacks actually both missed playoffs, the Gunslingers and Northern Arizona Wranglers. They just played last week. Bay Area won 30-20. Do you think they win again, or does San Diego take this one?
Okay. This is from a betting standpoint, San Diego plus the points is probably my favorite bet on the board.
Okay.
Every time these teams play, it's always like a 1-score game.
Mhm.
So I don't. The line doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. My only thought is that the books are a bit, the books are a bit skewed based on last week's results.
Sure.
Both of these teams were locked into their seeds already. So there was they were essentially playing a game just to play a game. So
yeah,
I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in that last matchup, even though there was a 10-point difference. If you watch the game, it was kind of obvious they were just nobody wanted to do too much.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I'm not really putting a whole lot of faith in that. I do think it skewed the line a bit, which
Mhm.
we want to bet on. So
Right.
that's why I'm San Diego plus the 5 is probably my favorite play on the board. I don't want to sprinkle. I just want the points. I don't want to sprinkle the money line. I don't.
Mhm.
You could talk. I mean, you could probably talk me into it. Especially if we try to do maybe a little Arizona San Diego parlay to get it super juicy.
Mhm.
You could talk me into that, but I'm not sprinkling. I just want the points. San Diego is going to cover. I don't know if they win outright.
Okay.
Also, you mentioned Nate Davis, Ball State legend and former San Francisco 49er Nate Davis.
Yeah. Not to be confused with, didn't we have a guard, Nate Davis, on the Bears?
I believe we still do.
Yeah, I think so too. Not to be confused with him. This Nate Davis is succeeding much more than our guard Nate Davis is.
Oh, San Diego Nate Davis is 37 and still playing. Bears Nate Davis doesn't seem to want to practice.
All right. I love it. Why don't we talk a little lock and dog, though? I think you said San Diego was your favorite play. Is that your lock of the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lock it up. If you can get, I think I saw 5.5. If you can get 5.5, take it. I like it plus 5 either way.
Okay. And then how about dog?
Dog, Arizona money line. Let's go.
You're good.
Okay. Let's fucking go. Arizona money line.
Absolutely.
I wasn't sure. You're the only person. You got your wife on the show. I didn't want to be. It's
our
first time.
Normally
I'm from the
getting in
Midwest. It's
trouble
our
for
first time talking to each other.
I know. Yeah. We're a whiskey show. We can curse.
That's what I think. I just wanted to be, but I've been on with Colby, and it was, it's Colby. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
He's like, how fucking are you? I'm like,
yeah.
So, but either way, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's the thing. If your guests try to be more polite in front of Miranda or not.
We've had people ask just in general before if they can we curse on this, but I think there was 1 month that we tried to keep it clean because we heard our nephew who was 7.
It was when we went live.
Yeah,
when we first went live on YouTube, which was about a year ago.
Yeah.
He got excited, and he was at the
Watching us.
time
Yes.
6. And we're like, we can't be. He would always, he'll call you out, and
he will
you'll
call
have
us
to put
out.
money in the swear jar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anymore, we just let it fly.
I'll have to owe you $1. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. He always
Shout out
says,
to J Mark's nephew.
yeah. He always says something about, well, I ask him like what he's watching on a phone. He says, my favorite YouTuber. And I said, you're watching our show? He's like, my favorite Fortnite YouTuber. I'm like, oh, okay. My bad.
There you go.
He's like, you don't Fortnite on YouTube. I was like, that is correct. I don't. I don't even know how I would do that. I don't know how to stream video games to YouTube, but it's, but yeah. So IFL starts Friday. It's going to be, or the playoffs start Friday. Going to be exciting. Make sure you follow all of Matthew's picks, because I have a feeling they're going to hit. He's been red hot, coming off 6-2. That's got to feel good going in the playoffs, right?
I had a 7-1 this year also, and that I was just like,
nice.
I honestly I was just looking for stuff to bet on, because I was like, I got to fire off some more. I'm hot. It's all coming in.
Right?
So, yeah. No, it feels good. Yeah. No, I'm the last 2 weeks. I think I'm 10-4 over the last 2 weeks. So
Nice.
it's definitely good to be coming in hot. Hopefully we'll be able to ride it, throughout the playoffs and into the NFL preseason, which I cannot wait to bet on preseason games.
For sure. I always bet the unders, in especially first half unders. It didn't work out last year, but 2 years ago that worked out really well. So
there's a system play for it. I think if it's under 38, you bet the under like no matter what, and if it's over, I'm sorry, no, I take that back. Maybe I got it wrong. Either way, there's a system for it. I'll go. Kramer knows it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come up on the SGPN main show one of the in the next few weeks. But there's a system for preseason overs and unders that they play.
Yeah, and I'm sure Kramer knows all the systems by now. Those guys are expert bettors. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? You got any articles coming up? I think you just put out a Mountain West one 2 days ago, correct?
Yep. I got all the conferences that nobody else wants. I got Mountain West, Sunbelt, and MAC. MAC should be out in the next day or two. I'm doing a Heisman odds article on SGPN that should be up over the weekend, and then Sunbelt should be early next week to look out for.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to it. No, it's been I've been with the SGPN for about 2 years, mostly on the article side. I've done a couple of shows with Colby. I've done this show. I did a guest spot with somebody else, and I'm really going to hurt their feelings because I can't remember who it was. But no, it's been great working with the team. It's been great watching this the way it's been built up over the years with all the shows we've added, especially even since I've started. It's been awesome. So, and you guys are a huge part of that with what you're doing on Old Fashioned Football. Great show. How's the CFL going?
Oh
so
man,
far?
the CFL is rough.
Okay,
Colby,
Okay. J-Mark, I didn't want to like call you like make it like I was calling you out, but yeah, no, I've been getting like, if I'm honest, okay, I make money on IFL. I send my profits right back to the CFL.
Yeah, we've said that maybe some people should just start fading us. That might be better.
Go against everything you say.
I know Colby and I, we did so well last year. Like we didn't have the show.
Crushing it last year.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what has gone on. I'm not sure what's going on this year. Something funky in the Canadian waters. That's what I think.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to like make it sound like a call or anything like that. I just say trust me, it's been all of us. It's been me too. I've been it's to the point where I'm like, I'm not, I'll watch it. I'm not batting it.
Yeah, no, it's been a rough year, that's for sure. I still think it's because Toronto Argonauts are not starting this guy, Brian Scott. Put him in, then I'm betting Toronto every game. But
he comes in and he just saves the day. I don't know why they're
against
not.
Montreal and looked really good. So, but yeah, maybe they'll figure it out. The coach Ryan Dinwiddie has not named a starter for this week yet, and the game is on Saturday, I believe. So maybe something a little spicy going on. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Legit.
Well, thank you so much for joining Old Fashioned Football. Anything else you want to add before we get you out of here?
Let it ride.
Let it ride. I like it. All right. Make sure you follow Matthew on X. Make sure you check out all his articles. Has a lot of good stuff out there. And check out the IFL this weekend. If you've never watched it, you can catch it on YouTube. So it's free. It's not like you have to have a subscription to stuff like most of the other leagues that are popping up. So go check it out. And yeah, we are out of here.